Gonjiam Mental Hospital, located in Gyeonggi Province, South Korea, has been associated with horror stories and paranormal events for years. The hospital, which suddenly closed in the 1990s, is known as one of the most haunted places in the world due to its dark past and mysterious events. Gonjiam Mental Hospital was opened to treat patients with mental illnesses. However, in the late 1990s, the hospital was suddenly closed. There is much speculation about the reasons for the closure. Financial problems, mysterious disappearance stories related to the owner, sudden deaths among patients and staff. Locals say that the hospital has been the scene of abuse scandals and dark events in the past. The name of this mental hospital has become synonymous with paranormal events. Visitors and locals claim that unexplained events have occurred in the building. Sudden whispers, slamming doors, and inaudible footsteps are frequently reported in the empty corridors of the building. A significant number of people report seeing shadow figures. It is said that some rooms emit more energy than others, and that paranormal activities are more intense there. These stories of the hospital have become a center of attraction for YouTubers and horror enthusiasts who investigate paranormal events. The fame of Gonjiam Hospital reached international dimensions with the 2018 horror movie Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. The movie tells the story of a paranormal investigation that takes place in the building and brings the eerie atmosphere of the hospital to the screen. This movie has made the building a symbol for horror lovers all over the world. Today, the building is abandoned and badly damaged, but it still attracts enthusiasts. Jecheon Apartment 805 is at the center of a mysterious and tragic incident that has become famous in South Korea. The apartment is remembered with fear and suspicion throughout the country since the mysterious death of a woman named Kim Soon-ja in the 1980s. Kim Soon-ja's death has left behind unexplained paranormal claims, an unsolved cause and effect relationship, and many mysteries. Kim Soon-ja was a woman living alone in Jecheon Apartment 805. One night in 1987, residents of the apartment heard screams and loud banging sounds coming from her apartment. When the police and rescue teams arrived at the apartment, they found Kim Soon-ja's lifeless body lying on the floor. However, the crime scene investigation did not reveal any signs of forced entry or physical assault. The outer door was locked and the windows were closed at the time of the incident. The cause of Kim Soon-ja's death was listed as undetermined. Although a heart attack is considered a possibility, no definitive evidence has been found to explain this sudden death, which is said to have been caused by fear. Kim Soon-ja's mysterious death has been made even more frightening by the paranormal stories told by the residents of the apartment building after the incident. The residents of the apartment building said that all entrances to apartment 805 were closed off after the incident and that no one lived there. However, they claimed to have heard voices and mysterious shadows coming from the apartment at night. New residents who moved into the apartment building reported a particularly cold draft and a disturbing sense of energy near 805. The screams heard in the middle of the night and whose source cannot be determined are said to match the images from the night of the incident. The incident has been covered in the South Korean media as part of mysterious stories about young people, single individuals, and apartment life. While some television shows and documentaries have covered this suspicious incident, apartment 805 has often been described as haunted. There have also been several attempts to investigate the apartment by paranormal groups and YouTubers, but the apartment remains a mystery. The story of Janghwa and Hongryeon is one of the most tragic and unforgettable stories in Korean folklore. This classic ghost story offers a touching narrative of injustice, love, and revenge. It has inspired folk tales, plays, and modern horror films. A long time ago, a father and his two beautiful daughters, Janghwa and Hongryeon, lived in a peaceful village. After losing their mother, their father remarried, but the stepmother began to treat the girls cruelly. Their father remained too passive to notice this bad behavior towards his children. The stepmother constantly belittled Janghwa and Hongryeon, made them do hard labor, and turned their father against their daughter. One night, Janghwa's stepmother came up with a terrible plan to eliminate her daughter. She placed a piece of evidence in Janghwa's sleeping bed and accused the girl of being unchaste. Believing this false evidence, her father accused Janghwa of the girl's immorality. Filled with shame and grief, Janghwa commits suicide in a lake. After Janghwa's death, her ghost begins to appear in the village. Every shadow seen and every scream heard spreads fear among the villagers. After Janghwa's death, Hongryeon is forced to bear the full burden of her stepmother's cruelty. However, she too can finally bear it and commits suicide in the same lake. Janghwa and Hongryeon's spirits begin to curse the village and take silent revenge against injustice. As the village's disturbances increase, the villagers decide to communicate with the spirits with the help of a shaman. Janghwa and Hongryeon reveal their story and reveal the stepmother's true face. Thereupon, the stepmother is punished and the spirits of the siblings are put to rest. The story of Janghwa and Hongryeon is told as a metaphor in South Korea for justice being served sooner or later. The story has inspired many theater plays, television series, and films. One of the best-known adaptations is the 2003 film A Tale of Two Sisters. This modern interpretation adds psychological depth and a new element of horror to the story. The legend of the Ghost Bride in the Shinjeong region of South Korea is a local folk tale that has inspired numerous paranormal tales. This frightening tale involves sudden tragedy, a betrayal that quickly leads to death, and a restless spirit seeking revenge. The story of the Shinjeong Ghost Bride is based on a wedding disaster that is said to have occurred in the village of Shinjeong many years ago. According to the story, a young woman known by the locals for her beauty and kindness was preparing for her long-awaited wedding. However, on the day of the wedding, her fiancé left her. Heartbroken and faced with shame, the young woman ended her life that night by hanging herself in her wedding dress. The young woman's sudden and tragic death prevented her soul from finding peace. According to the legend, the bride's ghost sought revenge by going after her fiancé and other malevolent people in the village. Those who saw a white figure wandering around the village at night in her wedding dress were one of the strongest evidences of the ghost's existence. The bride is often seen near an old bridge in Shinjeong village. Sometimes, violent screams and the sound of wedding bells are claimed to be heard. Some people who have encountered the bride's spirit have claimed to have suffered psychological or physical discomfort. The residents of Shinjeong village have passed this story down from generation to generation and have performed rituals to appease the ghost. These rituals usually involve prayers to the bride's spirit to bring peace and wedding-themed offerings. However, many people believe that the bride's anger has not subsided and that she is still seeking revenge. The Shinjeong Ghost Bride story has attracted the attention of people interested in horror stories and has been adapted into various formats such as documentaries, short films, and YouTube videos. Paranormal researchers have been observing and recording the ghost's existence for nights in Shinjeong village. The audio and video evidence has created more speculation about its existence. This legend is an indispensable element of Korean horror stories and has been a source of creative inspiration for writers and filmmakers. Don't forget to subscribe.